I want to start you right off from scratch, and I think I'm just calling Bagua fighting the beginning, because Bagua way of fighting is although it's extremely effective and very economical, it's totally different than most Westerners' idea of fighting. For instance, most people throw the punch Eli would think, yeah, bah, like that. That's a real kung fu-y type of Bruce Lee type of action. Bagua acts differently. If Eli throws a punch, Bagua doesn't say, "Oh, there's a fist coming forward towards me." It completely negates, treats the fist with contempt. It treats anything that comes towards it with contempt. All Bagua is concerned with is the person's center and the attacker's body. That's all Bagua is concerned with. Doesn't worry about this here. So in that case, if that were coming in again, the move would be. That would be the move. I didn't block his hand, although that was blocked just automatically in that action that I did. The action that I did was, here's his punch. If I just do a curved strike, which I was trying to do to get into here, rather than just strike straight in here like this, I needed a curved strike, then that would simply take his hand out of the way. On a simpler note, and this is really the epitome of Bagua, if Eli throws that punch again, rather than going like this and then like that or something, or 1-2er, Bagua is bah! So again, I'm working on the body of the opponent rather than his peripherals. And that's where Bagua is very quick, it's very economical. You're just striking the center of the person each time. And you'll notice also each time, I'll just go through a few basics here before we start. I'm going to start you on the very basic Bagua sparring. We don't like the word sparring because we don't do sparring, but very basic Bagua two-person fighting methods. It's nothing special, it just involves walking around a circle with a partner. But we'll get onto that in a minute. That strike there, what was I going to say? I should have written a note to myself, shouldn't I? Yeah. I always write notes to myself when I always go off on these tangents. I see these tangents. Anyway, that's the epitome of Bagua. It's so economical and so useful. That's right. Yes, don't worry, I've remembered it. Almost always we end up in the optimum position in Bagua because of the circle walking that we do all the time. We almost always end up in the optimum position for striking the attacker. So if Eli's throwing this punch here, that's not the optimum position, you see. If he's throwing the punch again, I do a little bit of circle walking, you see, and now I'm 45 degrees across his center. And always, you'll notice I'm not looking at him. Here's my vision out here. I can see someone standing there. I have no idea who it is because it's blurred. And I can see right over here to this door. So that's my called eagle vision or peripheral vision. That's what I can see. And that's what I can see by looking at it. Peripheral vision is much quicker than actually focusing on anything. Because normally people do writing, of course you have to focus to see what you're doing. If Eli's throwing the punch, if I focus on that, I'm immediately thinking about his fist and not his body. But if I'm looking over here and he's throwing the punch, I can perfectly see where the punch is coming from. I can see the form of the attacker's body. I might not be able to make out his facial features, but subconsciously I can see exactly where to strike, which is there, right in the temple, by looking over here. So I can see much more by looking over here than I can in looking straight into Eli's eyes. If I look into Eli's eyes, that's all I see, his eyes. So I don't see his fist coming at all. And that's why in focus vision I have to look at his fist first and then block it. Whereas in Bagua we look over here, we see the whole body, and we've taken it straight away, and we're in the ideal position. Even in this one, even when we're front on to the opponent, I'm still looking over here, but as he throws his punch to me, see, if I go like this, I'm still in danger of his other hand, and I'm not in the optimum position for fighting. Sometimes this will be okay, but throw the punch again, see how I just did a little bit of circle walking, and now again, I'm at this angle across his body. And that's the perfect angle. See where my elbow is? If I strike him here, I've got a lot, I can still get it and it works okay, but there's this great distance to come in. If I'm just here, look where the elbow is. It's already there, you see, because I've come in, done that little bit of Bagua circle walking, and everything I do in the self-defense area of Bagua, it always involves circle walking. Just throw an attack, Eli, it doesn't matter. You see that? There was the circle walking already. Always doing that little circle walking around. That's why Bagua is so baffling, because people, when someone hits you, the basic rule is your attacker wouldn't hit you if he didn't know you were going to be there, would he? That would be stupid. So he's striking you because he knows you're here. But if you're not here, he's upset. He doesn't like that. And that's what the circle walking does. You know, it's not... We don't walk around like that in the fighting area. That's just to teach us certain things in the fighting area, mainly to teach the very low, very devastating Bagua kicks is the reason that we walk that way, and to get the body moving, the upper body moving totally independently of the lower body, etc. That's why we do that strange walking, which we should do, and you should do it a lot. But the fighting art, of course, it's just in. But because we've done all this walking around the circle, everything we do becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. So even when there's an attack coming, I'm still doing, there's a circle walk, you see? Doesn't matter what sort of an attack's coming, I'm always doing a little bit of a circle walk to come in. I'm never coming in like this, like that, on a straight on angle. It's always around to the side. Even the large man's Bagua way of fighting, Bagua has two ways of fighting, large man and of course small person. So, large person I should say. There are some very large women around. So, some of those Amazon women you could die for. So the large person's way of Bagua fighting is to smash anything that comes is in front of you. That's all it does. So a big person like Rud, for instance, our Dutchman who's normally always here, he's about this tall, or Big Steve from Birmingham, he's even taller. They would use just smash anything that comes in front of you. So if Eli's throwing the punch here, go, but you notice I always went around in the circle. Even the big man's art takes you in the circle walking. You never come straight in like this. Even if it doesn't look like, it's just there's leave your hands there. Even if it doesn't, if I come in like, see there's a small circle. I didn't come straight in like this. The small person's way, Eli's throwing the punch here, he's much smaller than his opponent, obviously, so he has to use different methods. He has to use baffling methods. So he would use these methods, like, he would use those methods. Again, walking around the circle there. So when we first start Bagua fighting, this is, of course, assuming that you've all, and I've been looking around, I can see that most of you have done a little bit of Bagua walking, because we've done some last year and the first part of this year, so you've done some Bagua walking. That's essential, of course, to have learnt the way of Bagua walking, and to at least done some of the forms that we teach, because the forms are the foundation of the whole art. You can't just, I can teach this whole stuff here to anyone, but they'll only get 50% of it because they haven't done the foundation work. You've got to build your foundation first before you can get to this sort of stuff. But I find that teaching this sort of stuff to start with, just people when they first start Bagua, they're a little bit baffled. They say, what am I doing here? Why am I doing it? So I like to give this stuff to start with, just so that they've got a little bit of a better idea and they can understand what we're actually doing and how the whole thing works. So the very first thing I'm going to show you is, and even if you've done this, and I'm sure most of you have, you've all seen that. That's the epitome of Bagua. If you want to know what Bagua is, that's it. And you can get to it from anywhere. You can get to it from the on-guard position, which is this. The on-guard position is not this. That's what happens after you start fighting. You know, you're not going to walk standing at the bus stop like this, hoping for someone to attack you. You're going to be standing at the bus stop like this. Hello, and someone's attacking. You're perfectly safe in that position. You see. And there's the circle walking, and there's the attack across the centre. So that's what we're first going to do. We're just going to take it, your partner's just going to stand in front of you like that with his fist in your face. This is unrealistic because we'll go on a little bit to take it on a little bit further, in which case you'll be taking as he attacks you. But just for the time being, just to